Hi. I think we're all familiar with the taste of ginger, and I think we all have memories of ginger snaps when we were kids, or maybe gingerbread, or using it in pumpkin pie, or all those different ways that are so popular among us. But it's also a very popular herb in meals, not so popular in North America, but very much in Asian cooking. But it's also very good for you. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. I want to show you how to use ginger a little bit more in your kitchen. I want to show you how to make ginger powder out of ginger root and all sorts of other things. So let's get started. Hi, my name is Cindy and you're in my kitchen, and I write a blog called Backyard City Homestead, and today we're talking about ginger. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to peel it. So if you're like me and you have peeled in the past a ginger root with a knife, it's better than nothing, but I'm going to show you something better. Okay, if you've peeled ginger before, you've probably used the knife. And if you do that, you have noticed that you waste a lot of ginger. Well, look at this. Use a spoon. Look how easy that is. You can have that ginger peeled. Look at this, these little nodules here. You could plant this ginger. And actually, if you do, in a pot, you would grow great ginger. And it would grow about this high. Actually, it grows really, really high, straight up and down. And if you grow it long enough, you will actually get ginger. And I have, oops, I'm gonna turn that off. And I have, but not the kind of quantity that I want. It was fun to have a nice looking plant to have in the living room, but not very practical. So anyway, look how fast that is. That is how I'm gonna peel the ginger for what we're doing today. All right. So this is my peeled ginger. You can see that it's not perfect, and I don't even care about that. For what I want to do with this, that's just fine. So what I am going to do with it is I'm going to just slice a few really thin slices, and I'm going to put them in my pot, actually in my cup. So you know what, if you don't have one of these, just dump the ginger in your cup. And then you can always strain it out later. So I'm gonna get some, I just boiled some water. Gonna pour the very hot water over top, and I'm gonna let that steep for probably 20 minutes. Okay, so through the magic of YouTube, I now have quite a bit peeled. I'm going to show you just a couple of other things. So this is how I'm peeling. Whoops, I don't want to get the peel all over these good ones. So quick, so easy. But you know what? Not all ginger is this beautifully smooth and round. You know that ginger can be very gnarled and have all kinds of pieces on it that need to be snapped off. And if you start trying to peel around this, well, forget it. Just break it. Like, just break it like that, and now you've got some nice smooth edges that you can continue to peel. Whoops, let me move there. Stay in the camera. Anyway, that's how easy that is. And then when you get to the edge, where was it? Oh, here it is. So then you're always going to have some kind of a rough edge. That's what you have a knife for. So just cut that rough edge off. And now I'm ready. So I'm not going to worry about the little tiny bit of peel that I have there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to chop all this up or slice it up, and I'm going to put it in the dehydrator, and I'm going to make some ginger powder. And also through the miracle of YouTube and editing, we have let this sit here for about 20-25 minutes. It is perfect. It is ready to drink. It's very mild. at this point, and actually I like it that way. I could drink the whole cup like that. But if you're wanting it a little bit stronger, if you're taking it for some other reason, then let it sit a little bit longer or put more ginger in it, or both. So I have actually let it steep overnight before and just drank it in the morning when it was quite strong. And if it's too strong for you, then just dilute it with water. And what you do when you get that is just a nice, refreshing, cool ginger drink. You can sweeten it with a little bit of honey. At this point, I don't feel like this is gonna need any honey. I like it just the way that it is. Ginger is good for you. Ginger soothes the tummy. When you have an upset stomach, when you're getting over the flu, when you have kids that are getting over the flu, if you have somebody in your family that gets car sick, or some people have a hard time flying, or even when they're on boats, they get nauseous, or sometimes you just get nauseous. Having a little bit of ginger tea will soothe that. Ginger also is very good for digestion. And so when you have ginger in your meal, well, then that's kind of a double bonus. But otherwise, just if you have problems with that, then just have a little bit of ginger tea. You can also put the ginger powder in capsules and just drink it. Just take it if you don't really like the flavor of ginger. And I'm going to show you how to make ginger powder with what we've got right here. Okay, so here we have a stack of peeled ginger. Just gonna push it all out of the way for now. My favorite kitchen tool that I have is my ulu knife. I would never want to be without it. So what I'm going to show you is, now there's two things you can do. You can actually just slice them really thin. I'm going to put this in the dehydrator. If you have a dehydrator, this is going to be super easy for you. If you don't have a dehydrator, you can actually put it in the oven at a very low temperature and just take good care to don't leave it alone. Okay, so I've got quite thin slices here, and I'm just want to make sure that, yeah, they're pretty thin. That won't take very long in the dehydrator at all. Or the other thing that you can do is you can actually just chop it. And this is what I always have done in the past. You know what? I can feel on my hands how refreshing this is. Refreshing, that's not the word. There's some kind of quality about it that's kind of stingy in a refreshing kind of way. How's that for descriptive? Okay, so these I'm just chopping in small little pieces. So the ulu knife is perfectly suited for this board. So you can see that the board is just exactly the same curve as the ulu knife. And so because of that, it makes slicing easy, but it also makes chopping really, really easy. The ulu knife was originally, it's an Inuit tool, and they use it for skinning animals and cutting meat. Well, this ulu knife has never cut meat before. It's certainly never skinned an animal, but I use it for herbs mostly, and for vegetables. Because I actually use this bowl for garlic and onions too, I never do fruit in it. I haven't used it for onions and garlic for a while. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing the ginger in it. But if I was going to cut some fruit, then I would cut it on the back side where never a piece of garlic or onion has touched it, because I certainly don't want any onion flavored peaches or onion or garlic flavored watermelon or anything like that. All right, So I've got quite a bit ready. I'm gonna just start layering it into the dehydrator. I'm just gonna put it in a thin layer. That's a little bit thick. I might chop that up again. Oh, I've got a couple that are thick. And I'm gonna actually turn this dehydrator on and go to bed. And I'm gonna let it run all night. And in the morning, then I will see what it looks like. All right, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 racks, which actually is more than I thought I was gonna get out of this. I'm just gonna put the lid on and turn it on. Whoops, I'll turn it on in a minute. It's making too much noise. So I'll show you what I found. So while I was cutting, I found 2 little nodules, 2 little sprouts, or what could be sprouts. And I decided, I actually cut up a few other ones that I saw, but I decided I'm gonna save this and I'm gonna plant it in the morning, just in a pot, and I'll leave it outside for the summer, and then I'll bring it in the house in the winter time and grow another ginger plant. A couple of years ago, just for fun, just to see what the plant was like, and actually it was kind of fun. And then it lasted for, I think I had it outside for 2 summers and inside for 1 winter, and then finally I dug it up and I actually got way more ginger out of it than I put into it, which I wasn't really expecting. That was kind of fun. So we can grow it. I don't think we can grow it for any useful purpose, because I did have it and it lasted me a few meals, but really that was all. But it was fun. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this on and we're gonna come back in the morning and see what we've got. Well, it's morning and my ginger has been in the dehydrator all night. It went in about midnight and I turned it off about 10 o'clock this morning, so about 10 hours. And in the dehydrating, in my dehydrating world, that's not a long time. It's not a short time, but it's not a long time. So a long time is like 2 days, and thank goodness it didn't take that long. But you want it to be, you can tell by listening to it how dry it is, but you want to make sure that it's really, really dry. So you want to make sure that you can hear that, I don't know if you can hear it really well. Let me see. That you can hear it snap there. When it's that dry, then it's dry enough to powder. So that's what we're gonna do right now. And we're done. That's how easy it is. It did take some time because we had to dehydrate it, but it was like super easy. Peel your ginger, chop it all up, or slice it in very thin slices, dehydrate it, and then put it in the blender and powder it. And so that's where we are right now. So this is my ginger, and I am just gonna put it in a little jar, and then, whoops, I'm going to label it. All that ginger, whoops, doesn't make that much powder. Kind of gives you a lot of appreciation when you buy a container of powdered ginger and you think you're paying too much for it. I think that's a lot of ginger. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And I'm gonna end up with this whole jar full with all that I did. But the one thing you have to be careful about is making sure that it is very, very dry before you put it in the blender. If you cannot break it and hear that nice crack, then either put it back in the dehydrator for another hour or whatever, or lightly toast it in a frying pan, no oil of course, over low heat. Just just very, very lightly, stirring it all the time to make sure that you don't break it. I mean, burn it. And you don't really want to toast it. You're just trying to dry it a little bit more. If it's too dry, then make sure it goes back in the dehydrator. And don't go by air dry. Air dry is a relative thing. Sometimes, okay, I'm done. That's it. That is my homemade ginger powder. So air dry is a relative thing. It rained last night. It's kind of a little bit cool here. It's pretty humid. So air dry, in the winter time, air dry may be dry, but here, you can't count on that. Make sure that you can hear it crack. That's how you can tell. Okay, remember that little, I don't know what I did with it, that little nodule that oh, here it is, that I showed you that I was gonna plant. So I'm gonna go outside and plant it. So if you've ever got, whoops, there we go. If you've ever seen those and kind of want to grow your own ginger plant, then come with me. All right, we're gonna plant this little plant. It's embarrassingly easy. So Dan is videoing for me, so I can get it all in. Are you close enough, Dan? Okay, so I have a little bit of a narrower, not narrower, but a shallower pot. Just gonna fill it full of dirt. This is beautiful compost that just came out of our compost pile this year. So it's really, really rich. Okay, like that. Just gonna take my little piece, and you can see there is a nodule and there is a nodule. So I'm gonna just put that on the top. Just nestle it in. Little bit of dirt on top, not much. And that's it. And I will just give it a drink of water. It's nice and moist because it rained last night anyway. And that's it. That is my ginger plant, and I'm going to leave it outside in the warm for the next couple of months, and then it'll grow probably about that high, and then I will bring it in the house and keep it in the house all winter, and then we'll see what happens. So that ginger tea that I made last night, I've still got about half of it left. It's been sitting all night. I left the ginger in it, so it's very strong. Too strong for me. I'm kind of medicinal actually, but too strong for me to drink. So what I'm gonna do, but I like it. So I'm gonna just put a little bit, I'm gonna top it up with some fizzy water. Just water. Because I'm all about the fizz. That is really nice. If you want to sweeten it with a little tiny bit of honey or sugar or whatever you want, then go ahead, but that is actually very nice. And I will finish it. Thanks. Hi. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. I'd love to hear about it. If you have any comments, I'd love to hear them. If you liked it, do me a favor and click the like button. If you know somebody who would benefit from it, then definitely share it with them. And if you'd like to know more about these sorts of things, then stick around.